Welcome back, everyone. So, I realized I never shared this page with you, so I'm gonna do that in a really quick minute before we jump into today's stories. And then, yeah. I hope you'll enjoy. Alright. Welcome to all my tiny tots, little ones, big kids, tweens, teens, everyone in between, CGs, flips, and adults. It's so nice to meet you all, and I'm happy to be writing stories about one of my favorite fandoms. Side note there, I'm not a Dream stan. I'm sorry. Dream's character. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Clay's character, Dream. Phenomenal. The character growth. Phenomenal. But Dream, Clay himself, is not that great of a person. So, yeah, just don't call me a Dream stan, please. I will come at you. Please don't call me a Dream stan. Thank you. Okay. Although one of my favorite streamers is Agere, and another one's Fundy, and then another one is Carl, and another one is Snifferish. So there you go. He. Also Technoblade. R.I.P. Although Technoblade never dies. Anywho, back to this. Here's a little bit about me, and always feel free to ask more questions you're curious about. So my online persona name, whatever the heck you want to call it, I apologize, is Faye. I'm a minor yet. My pronouns are Zizamzir, and it's itself. Personally, my gender is agender. I don't really identify with gender, and I'm pretty okay with any pronouns, as long as they're not feminine. My little age is anywhere from 7 months to 12 years, and I am looking for a CG, if possible, because, yeah, all of my past CGs are just not around anymore for me. Also, if you can give me, like, an email or something to contact you by, that'd be absolutely amazing, because I'm not always in a place where I can use social media. So if you want to reach out to me on Discord or something, that'd be absolutely fabulous. Thank you. Anyway, back to this again. So my CG personality is kind, easygoing, not too many rules, and I will absolutely spoil you with affection because that's my love language. It's how I show I care about people. My little personality is very shy. I love affection, coloring, cuddles, watching movies. I also have a slight pet space. Cat. Mostly it's just kind of being lazy, you know? Just chilling. My favorite colors are pale blue and pale rose gold. Don't ask how that works. I don't know. Because the blue is like a really, really light blue, so it's almost white. And the rose gold is kind of explanatory. My favorite fruits are probably ice cream or pasta. Pasta has always been a comfort food for me when I can't eat or I'm sick, so yeah. Alright, my favorite drinks. There's a lot. And one of these was actually inspired by Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, so if y'all can guess which one it is, yay to you. I will also reveal it later. So my favorite drinks are boba, Arizona green tea, Nesquik strawberry milk, diet wild cherry Pepsi when I'm big, and then when I'm little it's chocolate milk, orange juice, or water. Although I do also drink a lot of water when I'm big. So yeah, that's yeah. My favorite animals are sea turtles and butterflies. Also, sorry, my brain just kind of dropped off the face of the earth there for a second. Also, dragons and moths, cause gorgeous. And then, if y'all can guess what genre of music I stick to mostly. So my favorite bands are the bands I listen to are Sleeping with Sirens, Fall Out Boy, Mother Mother, Bullet for My Valentine, Nirvana, Asking Alexandria, Incubus, Poison, MCR, IDK How, which is, I don't know how they found me, but they did. Or, no, it's just, I don't know how they found me, because I absolutely love Choke and I think them's Hyacinth. Or something like that. I can't remember. I'm sorry. It's been a while. Green Day, Queen, AC/DC, Insane Clown Posse, Hollywood Undead, Falling in Reverse, Palais Royal, Lovejoy, and more. And then when I'm little, I prefer like music box and soft melodies, lots of pop music with no bad words, usually. So like, or it'll have like a darker undertone to it. So like Melanie Martinez, like Undertale music box, that kind of thing. My favorite movies are the musical. This is going to be horribly said, and it's probably not the right pronunciation because I can never get the pronunciation right, so I'm really sorry for this. But Les Miserables and It, the original. If you don't have a fear of horror movies and you don't get nightmares from them, I would absolutely recommend watching the original because it is so much better than the new one. Trust me. So that's when I'm big. And then when I'm little, I prefer Zombillennium, which is actually based on a comic that I still have yet to find. Wonder Park. That one's a really awkward, weird movie. Alice in Wonderland, because it's absolutely amazing. And I should also say Mulan. Oh yeah, for movies. Oops, my bad. Okay. And then my favorite shows when I'm big are Umbrella Academy, Toilet Bandonakukan, Tribe 9, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. Any of the seasons. I'm really excited for the third one to come out. Wednesday, and School Spirit. School Spirit is a newer one. There's only 5 episodes out right now. The 6th one just came out today. I haven't seen it yet though. I'm excited. And then when I'm little, I really like old classics. So like Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, She-Ra, Mulan, those kind of things. And then my location is in North America, the US specifically. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. And if you didn't guess already, the drink inspired by Kurt Cobain is Nesquik strawberry milk because he had an easily upset stomach. Alright, to make this video even longer, I'm not joking, by the way. I'm also not trying to make that like a funny thing. Today we will be finishing off the first part of this book, woohoo, and then we will be moving back into from like the 60s and heading down to 85, woohoo. So today we'll be reading chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let me know if I've missed any chapters, and yeah, we'll go from there, I suppose. Just keep in mind that these are really old, like over a year old, I'm pretty sure, and they are poorly written. Before, I actually had a really good style of writing age regression stories, so yeah, just keep that in mind while I'm reading these. Chapter 1, CG Quackity Little J Schlatt. After a particularly long week at work, Jay Schlatt woke up regressed. His 2-year-old mind couldn't quite comprehend what was going on as he woke up and noticed that his papa was not beside him or anywhere in the bedroom. His lip quivered slightly as tears welled up in his eyes. The first of the tears rolled down his cheeks as his nose started to run. He sobbed and sobbed. He couldn't do anything as papa was gone. Around 15 minutes later, Quackity walked into the house carrying groceries. He heard sobbing and quickly dropped what was in his arms and raced up the stairs and down the hall. Bob, he called out. Oh. As he ran, scared, he entered the bedroom and saw Jay Schlatt curled up on the bed sobbing. He cooed softly and picked the mentally younger up. It's okay, Papa's got you, duckling, Quackity mumbled as he rocked Jay Schlatt side to side in his lap, slowly calming the mentally younger down. You want to tell Papa why you were crying, sweetheart? Quackity asked as he wiped the remaining tears away. Jay Schlatt nods. When woke up, Papa was gone. Jay Schlatt chokes out softly, his thumb finding its way into his mouth. Ah, here, duckling, Quackity says softly, replacing Jay Schlatt's thumb with his pacifier. Jay Schlatt offers a small smile behind his passy, mumbling a small thanks as well, curling into his papa's chest. You want to watch some cartoons while Papa makes breakfast, Buck? Quackity asks. Jay Schlatt frowns a bit, not wanting his papa to leave him alone in another room, and shakes his head as Quackity starts walking down the stairs. Quackity nods, pulling a chair from the dining room into the kitchen, and pulling up to the side of the counter before setting Jay Schlatt into it. He then hands Jay Schlatt a coloring book and some crayons while he starts making up French toast. Once breakfast was finished cooking, Quackity dished out plates. and cut Jay shots up before picking the mentally younger up and walking to the living room, placing the young boy down by the coffee table and handing him his breakfast before sitting down beside the boy and eating his breakfast as well. What do you want to watch, Bubba? He asks. Jay Shot pauses for a moment, thinking before answering. To Wonder Pets. I've actually never seen this, so yeah. Quackity nods, smiling and turns Wonder Pets on. Jay Shot curls into his papa's side comfortably, yawning a bit. All that crying must have tuckered you out, huh, Bubs? Quackity mumbles as Jay Shot falls asleep nearly in his lap. He smiles and carefully lifts the boy, placing him down on the couch. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all, but this is going to annoy me because for some reason something got messed up somewhere. So we have to fix it so it'll actually put my pages back in the right spaces, and hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, yeah, that'll be better. It won't be the greatest, but it'll be better. Alright. Chapter 2, Mama Puffy, Big Brother Foolish, and Baby Dream. He'd been mindlessly wandering through the forest, exploring, when he realized that he had no idea how to get back. Dream sat down for a second, trying to regain control over his thoughts as they all screamed at him that no one would ever find him again. He pulled his knees to his chest as he cleared his thoughts a little bit. He knew that if he ever got lost, he needed to stay put, because his mama would find him. That's when Dream realized he was feeling small, the comfortable, safe feeling wrapping around his brain like a hug as he sat in the dark forest around 3 years old. He let out a small whimper as he hoped that his mama or Bubba would find him soon. Around 1.5 hours later, it started to rain and Dream stayed put. He had already messaged his mama and his Bubba his coordinates. Now all he could do was try and wait. He shivered as the temperature dropped, curling up more tightly in hopes of maintaining body heat. He heard footsteps approaching, and his head shot up, terrified. Trey, you there, Bubba? Foolish called out as he finally broke the line of trees and into the clearing. Bubba! Dream cried, pushing himself up and sprinting over to his godlike brother. Foolish picked his younger brother up with few problems and wrapped a wool blanket around his shoulders. Mom said you probably didn't think of coming out here through very well. It's been looking like it was gonna rain all day, Bug. Foolish said, but wanted to explore and then just got lost. Dream mumbled tiredly, I know, Bubs. Foolish responded as he walked back towards their cabin near the coast. They soon reached the cabin and made their way inside, Puffy almost immediately taking Dream out of the other's arms. Oh, duckling, let's get you warmed up, honey, she said as she set Dream down before the fire and went to grab him some clothes. Foolish sat down beside Dream, pulling the younger closer to himself, trying to warm him up a bit more. Puffy returned a moment later, clothes in hand. Let's go run you a bath, kiddo, okay? She asked. Dream nods, standing up and taking her hand before reaching out his other hand towards Foolish. Foolish looks at it for a moment as if it's some kind of trick before instantly taking the boy's outstretched hand in his own. The three made their way to the bathroom, getting Dream washed up and dressed before tucking him in for a nap. Chapter 3, Carl naps. CG sapnapped little Carl. Carl woke up from his nap, super energized and ready to play and run around. He wanted to go to the park. He got up and ran down the hallway to the living room, jumping into his daddy's lap. Daddy! Carl shouted a bit louder than he had meant to in the otherwise quiet house. Yes, Buck, Sapnap responded. Can we go to the parks? Carl asked, bouncing excitedly. Sure, let's get some shoes on you first, though. Kiddo, he answered. Carl nodded and ran back to his room to grab his shoes before sprinting back out to the living room and sitting down beside Sapnap. Can you help? Sapnap nods and Carl asks. Sapnap nods and helps Carl into sneakers before scooping the younger up and carrying him out to the car. A couple of minutes later, they arrived at the park. Carl quickly jumped out of the car and once it stopped and ran over to the swings. Daddy! Carl yelled as Sapnap walked over to him. Yes, Bug? Sapnap responded. Push, he asked. Sapnap nodded and helps Carl up onto the swing, carefully pushing him. Carl giggles as he goes higher and higher. Daddy, swing with him. All right, kiddo, 1 second, he said, walking over to the swing next to Carl, then sitting down and pushing off. After a few hours, Sapnap decided it was time for them to go home. Hey, Bug, Sapnap asked. Yes, Daddy? Carl responded. Let's head home, honey. Sapnap answered. Carl nods and yawns a bit, tired out by the day. Sapnap scoops the mentally younger up and walks over to the car. He then places him in the back seat, carefully buckling him in. They returned home, Carl falling asleep on the way. Once home, Sapnap got out, walking to the back door and opening it, carefully unbuckling and picking up the sleeping little. He carried him into the house and laid him down on the couch, kissing his forehead. "Sweet dreams, Buck," he whispered as he pulled a blanket up over the little. Okay, so out of all of these, this one is probably the worst written chapter. But it is the last one of the day, so I hope you've all enjoyed so far. Chapter 4, Seiji Dad's a little Technoblade and Wilbur's big quackity Carl and Sapnap. The two boys sat on the floor in front of the coffee table in the living room. Wilbur, being the older of the two, had picked out a show for them. Techno was currently in baby mode and was sitting on the floor playing with the Century Pig, which had different squeakers and crinkles throughout its fluffy body. Footsteps sounded in the kitchen as Phil looked up from his coloring page towards the living room doorway as Phil appeared. "Good morning, boys," he said, smiling lightly. Will giggled softly. "Good morning, Papa," he squealed. Techno looked up at their father, making small grabby hand motions. Phil walks over and picks the small boy up easily, placing him on his hip and holding out a hand to Will. "Have some breakfast, kiddos." "Peas," Will answers. Phil nods and walks towards the kitchen with his sons. He carefully places Techno in his high chair before lifting Will up onto the counter. "What you thinking, bud?" he asks. Wilbur pauses for a second, thinking. "Waffles, peas." Phil nods and smiles a bit. "Sure, kiddo." He takes out a pan in the waffle mix. He places the correct amount into a bowl and adds the water, mixing everything together relatively quickly. He places some of the batter into the waffle maker and lightly wraps his knuckles on the counter as he waits. A while later, the waffles are done. Phil places two down on a plate and cuts them up for Will, placing him down on a chair by the dining table. And setting the plate down in front of him, he grabs a few for himself and grabs out a cup of applesauce for Techno, knowing from experience he probably won't be able to eat solids so little. He sits down with Techno's high chair in front of him, helping to feed the mentally younger. Once breakfast was done, the three guys sat in the living room. Techno had fallen asleep and was lying on one of the other couches in the living room. Wilbur is back on the floor, carefully coloring a picture of a pigeon. He grabbed a gray crayon, coloring the pigeon's back, while Phil sat on the couch, watching the younger boy as he colored. A couple of hours later, Will was out cold on the couch as Techno sat beside Phil, cuddled into his side and watching Will laying. "Pa, look, Unnie." Phil smiles. "That's right, bud, there's a bunny." Techno squeals and claps his hands. Will stirs lightly. "Appa," he says quietly, "I'm right here, bud." Phil reassures the mentally younger. Will whines slightly and rolls over on the couch, bringing deeper into the blanket that is placed over him. Phil smiles a bit. Techno carefully slides down off the couch and crawls onto the other couch, snuggling up with his brother. Phil smiles at his boys, getting up after a few minutes to research the blanket over the two of them. Absolutely adorable, he thinks, carefully shutting the TV off and dimming the lights down. Later in the afternoon, the boys had awoken and were highly energetic. Will ran around in the backyard as Techno sat and played with his pig plush on a picnic blanket placed down in the grass. Kristen and Phil played tag with Will, while Techno sat and watched. Carl, Sapnap, and Quackity were due to arrive any minute to hang out with the boys for a while. Techno hugged his plush closer to his chest as he shook his plate keys in a happy stem. He was excited. A few minutes later, the others arrived, walking into the backyard through the back gate. Sapnap and Quackity joined Phil and Kristen in playing tag with Will, as Carl sat with Techno, watching over the boy. Techno handed his bunny plush to Carl. "Want me to play with you, bud?" he asked. Techno nods and squeals happily. Carl nods and moves the bunny along the edges of the picnic blanket, making him talk to Techno's pig plush. Techno giggles and responds in little babbles. "You're it, Phil," Quackity yells as he ran towards the opposite side of the yard after taking Phil. "Oh, you," Phil says, remembering there are kids around, and chases after Kristen instead. Phil and Techno watch from their location on the picnic blanket in the far corner of the backyard. That's the end of this one. So I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one, to all my tiny tots, little ones, big kids, tweens, teens, everyone in between, CDs, flips, and adults. I hope you all have a fantabulous day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it may be.